Let me tell my followers.
Okay, tell them.
Yeah, let me tell people to.
Chastity, what's yours?
I_am_temperance.
I_am_.
Temperance. TEMPRESS.
Dirty Black Beauty.
Okay. Alicia, you want to come on too?
Yes, I'm the luncheon lawyer.
After show now.
Okay, so if y'all go to my page, my eyes are real bad, so I'm gonna try to add these in right now. So let's just do it. Let's okay. I'll see
y'all.
Come
on, after show.
Let's do the after show. I'll see y'all later right now. Okay, bye y'all.
Right, y'all.
Okay. We may have to.
Oh yeah.
Hey everybody, we are going to finish this conversation. We just had a fantastic conversation with two members of the trans community and two cisgender women, and there was just so much good information that I'm like, we're not done. We have to continue this conversation, and I just think that we owe it to each other to try to get to a place of better understanding and into a better place. So let me go ahead and try to add. Let's try to get Chastity on first. Y'all know I can't really see without my glasses. Let's see. What's up, Freddie? Oh, I see you. Let's see. Chastity. I_am_Tim. Chris. Oh, my vision is so damn bad. Oh my God. My misspellings. Not available. Oh, okay. They might have to add me. Okay, let's get the luncheon lawyer. Let's see if I can get. They're not on here yet. Oh, here's Jada. Okay. Okay, I need the other ladies to send me a request because it's not allow me to invite y'all. Jada!
Hi, girl. Hey!
I love your shirt, by the way. Cute top.
Thank you, Claudia.
So, I am Temperance. Okay, let me get her in here. I don't think we can do all 5 of us, though.
We can do 4.
Okay, so we'll have to switch the ladies out. So I am Temperance. Can you send me a request? I am Temperance. Can you send me a request so I can add you on? I need you to send me a request. Okay. This is Dominique. And now I need to get Chastity. Can you send me a request? Is Chastity here?
Hey, what's poppin', friends?
Hey. All right.
Come on, Jada, after party. Come on, Claudia, after party.
Okay.
After party, because we were just the after show. We were having a good conversation. We had 2 cisgender women and 2 transgender women, and I think we gotta have these conversations. Jada shared with me that the girls wanted to drag me on tonight's show because I think there's just misconceptions, and I just want y'all to know if I phrase something the wrong way, I don't come in malice. You know what I mean? Like. I'm actually, this is my second show I dedicated to the trans community because I care and I want other people like me that may get it wrong to get it right. And so I hope that it comes across that way. I really, really do. So let's get into it. Okay, let's see. We need to get, hey, Kate.
Chastity. We need to get Chastity up on now.
Let's see.
And then I'm here for this, y'all. Ooh.
Okay. I have to at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, I love this new IG thing.
Ain't it cute?
So we just missing Chastity. Yeah, that hour was so good. It was just not long enough. Out Loud was just not long enough for me tonight. We're going to have to do a part 2 because, we got to ease on into this conversation.
And we don't have the here, so we're going to have thanks for doing part 2. I think we need to, if we can't get it out loud, we have to okay, now we're not. We want to, but I want.
Claudia, you might need headphones.
Yeah, because I can't. It's like
your headphones. The audio's messing up.
You need headphones. Your audio is going in and out.
I want us to get to a better place where we're less more for each other, and So yeah.
You want to start, Claudia?
We can't
they
hear
say
you.
they can't hear you. So you need headphones, Claudia.
Who, me? You can't hear me?
You going in and out.
Oh, really?
Somebody said it's choppy. Yeah, Claudia breaking up.
Check my Wi-Fi connection real quick.
AirPods or something.
Damn. Is it any? Let me know if it's better now. So my Wi-Fi was. Is that any better?
That's better.
Okay, cool. My Wi-Fi was out. We good?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So, what do we get to talk about on the show y'all think we need to address?
I know we were talking about, you know, just being allies and being better together as trans women and cis women, but like, you know, let's just talk about the regular schmegular cis women out there. Where do they seek to find, to be friends, to, you know, in person, meet, or how does that come about? Are there like clubs? Like, how do we do that? How do we physically do that? Without being weird.
I feel like it's okay, not without being weird. I think coming together as cis women and trans women, I think that we can come to some type of mutual ground, and then we can go to, you know, becoming friends and allies and sticking with each other and stuff like that. I think the after show was kind of based around, you know, first of all, I want to say, I love you, Claudia Jordan. Let me just say that. Like I told Claudia Jordan in the after party, they wanted me to attack you. The girls wanted me to cut your head off and throw you to the wolves, but I was like, no, I think Claudia wants to have this conversation because she wants to bridge the gap between Black trans women and Black cis women. So I'm going to step back. I'm going to let y'all come up with some topics, and then we're going to go from there.
Well, I see Miss Space said, what does cis woman mean? I've never heard that before, and I talked about that earlier. Like, I recently just learned that it was my damn self. Okay.
So, I mean, cis woman is just basically identifying with the sex that you was, you know, born as. And it's a prefix. I mean, it's just like trans, you know, to switch over, and cis is the same. So it's like cis woman, like you was born, you know, at birth, you know, they said you was a woman and you identify with that. At birth, trans people, they don't identify with what they was told they were supposed to be. So they're trans, they transition.
And what would you say that term came about? Is it right for me to be like, I just found this out a couple months ago about myself?
I mean, we find out a lot of things in science, though. Like, it's a progression. With a lot of things, you know, you find out a lot of things. Like, I find out, you know, there's a lot of things that we learn.
Mm-hmm.
So is it okay if a cisgender just say, I'm a
Oh, if we don't say cis.
like if we don't say cis,
I wouldn't.
You're going in and out.
You're going in and out, but I wouldn't be offended if you wouldn't consider yourself a cis woman. That's the way that you label yourself. I think that we put all these labels, and we have to put, just like Chasity said earlier in the live, she don't like to be put in a box, so I wouldn't put you in a box if you don't want to identify as that. That's not my place. You know, I'm looking at some of the comments, and it was like, oh, we want people to be held accountable. We don't want, you know, head cutters and stuff like that. I'm looking at some of the comments, but Claudia needs headphones. And then we could take some questions from, we could take some questions from the, you know, the audience, because they got a lot of questions. It's going so fast.
Anthony Fierce says, okay, someone who played a devil's advocate, we have enough issues of heterosexual men fully development and women understanding their femininity. Now we have to throw in this other entity, white supremacy. Okay, Anthony, he on his own.
But white supremacy like started that's the whole patriarchy that also started like this whole gender thing. It's a social construct anyway.
That's like, another question right there.
Comes from.
And read this question.
It's only in
Mind,
Western
body, soul,
civilization. It's only in Western civilization where these things are not, you know, they love two-spirited people.
Accepted in other countries than in America?
Outside, yes.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Can y'all hear me better now?
We
Yeah.
can hear you,
I got
lovely darling.
iPods on.
Hey.
Oh,
After the show.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Non-binary and two-spirited and all of that is not nothing new. It's just in Western civilization is where we have this, social construct that it's a girl, boy. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what, and over here.
I want to read this comment. It say, I really wonder if you consider yourself an ally. Why would you not want to adapt a vocabulary that would include trans women if you agree that you are in support of transgender women? So that is a conversation that is a question to Claudia and a question to the beautiful Dominique.
Dominique the Diva. I think some people
Dominique
would
the Diva.
consider themselves an ally in the meaning that they feel like, okay, they don't want any, harm done to anyone in that community. They would never vote against, that community being able to have their, civil and equal rights, but they might not necessarily take the time, with everything that's on their plate to do the education that maybe they should. But are they a bad person because they haven't read that they're supposed to be calling themselves cis, or that's the new scientific thing? They just on their way where it's like, look, I don't, I'm not bothering them. I think they should be able to live and love and, seek and live the lives that they want to live. And I consider myself an ally. However, that person still might not, pick up the book or write, or watch the movie. Is that bad that they won't take it that far, but they cool?
But I feel like if you're going to be an ally 100%, I feel like you should be an ally 100%. The thing is with people is if I'm not able, with trans people, we want to be able to be accepted and we also want to be able to be loved. I think a lot of trans people and gay people, the disconnect can also be if I'm not styling you or if I'm not doing your hair, if I'm not doing your makeup, will you still look at me as a woman and will you still love me for a person and look at me as a woman? I'm looking at the comments with a lot of people saying stuff like that.
Normalize making us human first.
Absolutely. And can we
like
talk about
we're human.
can we talk about the battle, or I don't know the right word, but
Go ahead, sister.
the thing between the trans community and the gay community? We talked a little bit off air about can I say not competition, but
Sister, go ahead.
uh,
Go ahead.
We get it from them too. So
okay.
we would think that sometimes, and this is not all, but a lot of times, in the gay, because everyone is groups us in the LGBTQ, whatever, they group us together. But sometimes we're like the bottom of the barrel. We have gay men who is quick to say, oh, child, that's a man, or they don't understand it, and I always say that if you don't go through a transition, you probably won't ever understand it. But what I want you to do is respect it, so we get it from both ways. Like in the community, in the gay community, there's gay men who definitely don't see it for trans women. Like as long as we're entertaining them, if we're walking a ball or something or in a pageant, it's all good. But when it really boils down to it, you get into it
And
with
fighting
one
for
of them, and
trans
they
rights,
quick to
and you're gonna
say
be a
you're a
man.
man.
And the
So
thing about that, go ahead,
I was
Claudia.
gonna say we just need to start seeing trans women and not just in the ballroom. Not that that's a bad thing because we love it, but I think because people will forever continue to only think of you as there for their entertainment, and that's not right. I remember when I had a show on my radio station, a trans woman drove 16 hours to be on my show because that's how important she thought it was to be shown and to be seen as more than just this exterior and more than just this thing for your entertainment, this taboo thing. And when she started talking about the things that make her sad, the things that make her happy, a lot of people, and I'm in the South, I'm in Dallas where the Bible Belt and all these religious freaks
I lived
that,
there before.
it's like they say they quote the Bible on Monday, on Sunday, but then they do their own shit Monday through Sunday night and through
Sunday
Saturday.
too.
Okay, Sunday too. And I think that, like, I love that we're seeing more transgender women in different spaces and not just there as gimmicks for our entertainment, because it's hard. You know what I mean? Like, people just think of trans women as sex workers, and there's so much more.
And that's what we were talking about earlier on the show. If you guys missed that, we were talking about transgender women are more than just sex workers and porn stars or entertainers or in ballrooms. Just like I say myself, I am a black chef, and Chasity, so she's a singer and she's an actress. And people, And people need to see transgender people outside of what they think that transgender people are supposed to look like. Because you look at these shows and then you see them, they only pull out certain type of transgender people. You don't see them, and I might get in trouble for saying this, but you don't see them going pull out the softest girl in the bunch. You see them going pull out a girl who looks trans, and just like Chasity said earlier, if you don't look trans, then it's not a story.
Yeah,
Chasity don't look like
tell.
me. I don't look like T.S. Madison. T.S. Madison don't look like Angelica Ross. So we all look different in our own way, and we all have our own story. But people don't want to see that.
What do you guys say?
And there's nothing. It's like I said, there's a plethora. There's a big spectrum of women, of girls, and no one's coming against sex work because a lot of girls were forced into sex work. Like I said earlier, some people were put out of their home. You know, some of us grew up on love. Thank God, my family was very supportive, and some of us grew up on survival. And so at the end of the day, some people end up having to do what they have to do. But no, we're not just sex workers. We're not just porn stars. We are very talented individuals. Some people were just like even in the work, you know, when you're working, let's say like you're working and you have these men coming on to you and they don't know that you're trans. And then now you have
it's a big thing.
Yeah, like, so it's a big thing. Like, it's not, you know, so some people, it's not that you just love to do sex work or anything. Sometimes they're forced into it. And then another thing is men tend to use us as fetishes all the time, and all they want to do is sleep with you. So at the end of the day, some girls figure, let me monopolize off of it. If they're only going to be able to sleep with me because people emasculate them or make them feel like they're gay because they're sleeping with me, then hell, why don't I just charge them?
So how do you feel about cisgender women that don't want to date a man that they've known to be with a transgender woman? What are your feelings about that?
There's preference. But what I will say is this. When cis people say stuff like, oh, I don't want to date him because he might got AIDS. You know, believe it or not, a lot of cis people associate HIV and AIDS with black transgender women and also black gay men. And that's something I never understood, because you can be all along the spectrum and have HIV and AIDS. But people associate that with black trans people and black gay men, and I just
that's not fair. That's ignorant to say.
So, but like I said, it's preference. If you're a cis woman and you don't want to date a man who's dated trans women, that's perfectly fine. That is that's how you feel. That's your preference. Just like what's the girl? What's the girl name earlier who was on the show? And she was saying, if a man said he don't want to date a trans woman, do you feel like that is transphobic? That's your preference.
Well, so I just think that you should stop. I feel like that. I think that it's up to you, though. I don't have a problem with that. I think that's a preference, but I do think that it's going to be I think that if you don't allow the man to be open with you about what he does or whatever, then there will continue to be this DL trend. Like,
and the DL community,
stigma. They put stigma on it, and so they don't allow these men to be honest and open about what they want to do. So as long as you do that and say things like that, and then it's also like a double standard as well to me. I think, like, you know, women can be lesbians, you know, for a period of time. She could have went to college and she could mess with girls, and then she could, like, you know, all of a sudden now she's married with men, and it's okay. A man, if he messes with a man, or if he messes with a trans or whatever, he is gay. There's no bisexual. That's in the gay community too. Gay community don't see bisexuality, the straight people. So these men are always pushed into this box. And so that's why we're being killed by them, because they're feeling some type of way when someone finds out that they're messing with a trans, because now everyone has put this stigma on it that is something wrong with it.
A lot of straight men think, a lot of straight men think that, or people will say that there's no such thing as bisexual, that if you're ever messed with a man, then you're gay. What does everyone think about that?
I'm trans. People think that trans people, like, me being a trans woman, they always equate that with what I would like sexually or who I'm attracted to, and that is a big difference. There is a difference. I have been with trans men, which I look at men. I have been with women. I'm a Cancer, so you know, kind of, we a little here and there, we call it open to all, whatever. But I do love masculine, like, you know, I love masculinity. I'm just attracted to masculinity, and that's whatever form that comes in. Like, you know, it might be a female. She might come along and she give her, come me, I'm giving, hey, boo. You know what I'm saying? So that has nothing, those are two different things. Like trans and what you're attracted to is two different things. And bisexuality is definitely true. When I first came in and I didn't know what trans was, and I was saying I was gay, I never really agreed with the gay thing. But my gay friends would be like, you're not gay, that's temporary. You're not bi, that's temporary. You're going to like something more. And I'm like, you can't tell me what I like. I enjoy what I enjoy.
Right. So the next question is, and they keep asking this question over and over. They say, can we put a rest that men that like trans women are gay? I'm gay myself, and I'm not checking for any women, period. So can we put a rest that men that like trans women are gay? And I think that's what it is. So what they were saying basically is, if you say you don't want to date a trans person, if you are a cis woman, you say, oh, I don't want to date a man because he likes trans women, and then you're saying trans women are men, then that is in fact transphobic. That's what they were saying.
Because if a man
don't like trans women, they don't want that, or they don't want, like, you know,
because
usually the gay men that do it, they're not really gay, they're bisexual, but they're comfortable in the gay community because they have now messed around with a man or something, and so the heterosexual community has shunned them, and they have said, you are gay. They can no longer claim bisexuality. Women don't want to mess with them anymore, so now they're stuck in the gay community. So they may be attracted to a trans woman or something, but if you're gay, if you're a gay male, you like men. And transsexual, if I don't look like a man, I have the parts of a woman, so what is it that a gay man would want with me?
So let's ask this. If we had a conversation earlier about, trans women saying, why are people so obsessed with our genitalia? It's not really about the genitalia. And then we have men that like transgender women, and if they like transgender women, they really shouldn't be called gay, right? Because they're liking a woman. They're not there for.
I think I think the obsession with genitalia of trans people, I think that's the first thing. I think it's the way it's presented, if that makes any sense at all. Just like we said earlier on the TV show, on the TV show, trans people are number one on Pornhub, so you can't say they don't like it. We live in a world, we live in a society. Trans women are beautiful. We come in different shapes and sizes, a different variety of us, and men want to inquire that. Men know where we party at, they know where we live, they know how to contact us on Instagram and all of the above. But these men are never going to be able to live their lives fully if people shun them for being gay, for liking people that look like me.
John Fran for you says, beautiful girl in white, black beauty queen. John Fran 317 is showing you love.
Thank you, John Fran 317.
Somebody says, can we talk about comedy? What's off limit? That's from Mind, Body, Soul Fit. And I think that's a great question because, I am a big fan of Dave Chappelle, and he always has his jokes about trans. A lot of times his jokes will end up saying how he was dancing on one for hours and was mad that the time was up and things like that. But how do we feel about that? Because I am a huge fan of comedy, and with this world, it's getting harder and harder to laugh at things, and I don't want to live in a world where we can't laugh at each other and where things are off limits. So how do you feel about Dave Chappelle or just comedy period? Does it have to be done in good taste? Is it off limits period? Should we just not
comedy is meant to be funny, and if you don't know, I do stand-up comedy myself. But you don't have to make a joke about a transsexual having a dick to make a joke to be funny. That can be very insensitive to some people. Some people may not. That to me, they might be in poor taste. If someone made a comment about a trans person, they'd be like, at the end of the day, I fell down a skirt and then he had a dick in me. Like, that's not funny. Like, we all know that. It's a what?
A key. But no, I understand because a lot of people have dysphoria, or whatever. I just think that what's in bad taste is there's a lot of trans women that are being murdered. And so, when you start saying things that are problematic in your jokes, like if you say, I don't know. I don't want to limit people's jokes, but I some things that people said wasn't funny, I thought was funny. Like, I can laugh at it now or whatever. And some people, we get it from both ways. Even with the comedy thing, like I read somebody's, they said, if a man messes with a girl's lady parts, like if she hasn't transitioned or like if she hasn't got a sex change or whatever, then he's gay. I think if he's directly always going for that, and that's specifically what he wants, then yes, he's a chaser, and you probably can claim him as. I mean, I don't really know what I hate the titles and stuff like that. But we also get it like when you don't have a complete sex change or whatever, and so some women, some trans women don't want their bottom part touched. They don't want you to touch it. They don't want you to see it. You know, it's just dysphoria, you know, or whatever. But then also sometimes you are, you know, people come down on you for allowing someone to do something to you. But if I have the same part that you have and it feels good to you, why wouldn't it feel good to me?
Good to me.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Just like the same thing that I heard Oprah say a long time ago, that sometimes when people were being preyed on, you know, there was a pedophile and they may have been touching them and they may have been touching them in the right way. And now you felt guilty because this person made you climax, you know, or whatever. And you're like, this is wrong. But this person knew what they were supposed to be doing. Like you're feeling bad about it, but it's your body part.
Okay. Okay. I want to read another comment.
But
I'm
coming.
Sexuality means equals who I sleep with, and gender equals who I go to sleep as. Is that fair?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very fair. That's Nina. She's that's one of my sisters. She is from New Orleans, and she lives out there in California. And she is doing the people's work for Black transgender women. So I do want to shout her out for that.
So let's talk about the part that the Black church and religion plays into the community, and how they're so vocal about what's right and what's wrong. But a lot of times, if you look into their DMs and what their activities are, they really are with it. They really are with it. So can we talk about that? And
Let me tell you
the effect of
something.
Black church?
And I'm sorry, I don't want to keep talking too much, but let me tell you this.
Go ahead.
First of all, the church teaches self-hate from a very young age. Like me coming up and not understanding who I was, and you know, being told that homosexuality was wrong, and you know what have you, and you know, but every pastor is trying to sleep with me. Every pastor is trying to sleep with me, and I'm a child, you know, or whatever. So you grow up already feeling some type of way about yourself, because it's like I'm from another generation, so I wasn't able to identify. We didn't have these like, you know, role models, these trans. We didn't have like, you know, people like that. So it's like, I don't want to touch a man. Oh, I'm going to go to hell, blah, blah, blah. I think, and they make that to be the biggest sin. But you will have that pastor, the pedophile, and the uncles, and everyone sitting at all the Thanksgiving dinners and all that. But when it's a trans or a homosexual, then you get kicked out and put on the street. Like, what happens to unconditional love? These people are the first people that are supposed to love you, and they allow this book to not love you and put you out on the street. That's what makes me no longer religious. I'm spiritual. I believe in a higher power, and I believe that if it is not in love, then it is not real. And the Bible says something about anything of confusion. I forgot. Well, I ain't gonna quote the Bible, but like, you know, if it's confusion is not of God, something like that. But at the end of the day, so that is confusing to me. Like the church really, they need to stop. Like it's too much sin. They always harp on the homosexuality, and I think that is horrible, because that's why kids are committing suicide.
I think they need to, and we could touch bases on the Zaya Wade situation. I think they need to allow people to be people, and I think they need to allow children to be children, and stop trying to put children in certain boxes to fit their standard. Just like Lil Boosie made a comment about Zaya Wade and was like, "That's a meal," you know, and the whole world thought it was just so funny. But you know, a lot of people didn't shame Boosie for letting, you know, a stripper give his son fellatio. You know,
I did.
You did. You did. That was not cute at all. But the world was like, "Oh yeah, because she's a little too young, and she's only too young because it's not what you think that she should be." They have 13-year-old little girls that's going to movies with little boys. They're having sex. These little 13-year-olds are doing a lot. They got Instagram. They got phones. I remember I was 13 years old. It was right before Hurricane Katrina. I got my first cell phone at 15 years old. You understand what I'm saying? So children are a little bit different. You can't say a child doesn't know something because it's not you, or you're not the child's parent, or you never lived in those shoes. Just like Chasity said earlier, if you never lived the life of a transgender person, you will not be able to fully understand what it is to transition and to be in the wrong body and want to correct the body or the spirit or whatever it is that you want to be complete. You will never be able to understand that.
The most
let's get
important thing is unconditional love. It's
I mean, it starts
unconditional
with love.
love. How could you not thrive with having unconditional love? These people are out here living off of survival and not love. How could you not expect them to be a certain way? They don't even know what love is, because the church was at the beginning and they told their parents and grandparents and stuff that what they were doing was wrong. And for them, that was the biggest sin ever.
Dominique,
So they
what were you
stand on
gonna
the
say?
line.
I was just gonna say, I mean, they're very much right. You know, the way a lot of people grew up in the church and whatnot, and then that just supersedes into everything, right? Because then we're just talking about the Black community, then we talk about hip hop, and we talk about rape culture and certain things that's embedded in hip hop and the things that we grew up listening to. What's cool to say, what's not cool to say, what's cool to wear, what's not cool to wear. And the bottom line again is, it's like a lot of people are just learning. A lot of people are still learning. We have to allow the space between both communities, all communities, to learn, because there's some people out there that's so wrapped up in their itty bitty world that they're not even thinking, you know what I mean, thinking about that. And they probably should educate themselves, but some people are just, I mean, I don't know. I was telling people earlier, as a Black woman, we got a lot on our plate right now, okay? They want us to suit up and boot up and stop Asian hate. They want us to stop white terrorism. We trying to go to the doctor and have him understand us and believe us. We trying to make sure our men and kids don't look suspicious at any part of the day so that they don't end up in jail, or Karen don't call the cops on them. So, with that being said, it still has to be like some medium space where we all can understand how we've been conditioned.
You just said that so well, and that's when that's something that it is frustrating as a cisgender woman. Like we're Black women, we are always at the forefront in fighting for everybody, and it really hurts your feelings when you are on the right side of history for everyone else, and we're still getting shitted on us, right? And then if you ask a question in the wrong way, like. When some, not all, because I had a lot of support from a lot of folks in the transgender community, the trans community, were like so willing to think that I was trying to come for them, because a lot of times I don't want anybody that's willing to be an ally to be chased off and shamed, and you know what I mean? Like it took me a lot. Like I was like, damn, like am I not allowed to make any mistakes like when I went to college, right? If I made a mistake on a paper or on a test, my teacher would correct me before failing me. So I guess I'm just asking for the same kind of like hold my hand through the process, because I'm actually trying to get there.
And that's why we want allies.
And that's why we
same
want to
way.
have
Like,
these
it's like
conversations.
Black Lives Matter unless you're trans or homosexual. Like, I'm fighting because when you see me first, the first thing you see is Black. So I'm fighting for my Black brothers and sisters. But when my trans sisters dies, they're not fighting for us. You know, and I honor and worship cis women. I came from a cis woman. So when I have this like pushback from them, you know, and I'm like, girl, like, you know, a lot of our paths, like, of course we do have different paths, but we do have similarities, and Black women are the ones that are always there and that are fighting. And that's why I'm like, let's fight together. Like, the best thing they ever did was separate us. Like, they separated us from the beginning of time. We would be so much stronger if we came together and we was just all together as one. We allow so many things to separate us, so many things as simple as trans or lighter skin, colorism, all these different things. We allow that to separate us, but we would be stronger as a bigger unit.
And
I really want to say this as
go ahead, sorry.
No, it's okay. I just want to piggyback off of this. To piggyback off of Temperance, to be honest with you, I feel like we are Black before we're anything, everybody that is on this live. But I think, you know, as people who are in privilege, some cis people, they justify why a lot of things happen to trans people. And that's something that we did not get to talk about on the show, but we should talk about it here, because there's a lot of, I don't know if y'all know this on this live, but there are a lot of Black transgender women who are getting killed every single day. And that is not something that we talk about a lot. There are transgender women, like last year, I want to say like 40-something transgender women. And nobody talks about this in media. It doesn't really be talked about in media like that.
Right.
And I just feel like a lot of people justify that. And they be like, oh, well, she shouldn't have been tricking this person, or she should have been deceiving. She should have told them that she was a man, or this, that, and the third. And a lot of people justify why transgender people are getting killed each and every day. But to be honest with you, we are someone's daughter. We come from a family like ourselves, and transgender people are not disposable. And it takes people who are allies to speak up for people that look like me, that look like Temperance, and a lot of these girls that's on this live, to understand that they belong here just like everybody
And,
else
and
because they
you're
are
right.
black.
And I want to say to everyone that follows me on this page and everyone that follows all of us, I will say this publicly. As a cisgender black woman, I think the black community as a whole does need to do a better job at having the same outrage that we have for George Floyd as when when a transgender woman or trans man is murdered, and we can't write that person off and automatically assume, oh, that they tricked somebody or they somehow deserved it, because that's exactly what white people say about us when they kill us. Oh, he was tricky, he deserved it, he was a
Hoodlum.
criminal. And Black Lives Matter, yes, but we can't say but after that.
That is
There can't
correct,
be a but.
Claudia.
It
That's
has to
very
be,
true.
and we have to just, and we need to fight for all Black lives that are taken prematurely. Whether they forget, who cares what they're doing in their bedroom? Who cares how they identify with? Who cares? Like I don't even want to even care. I don't even care what folks are doing. It's none of my
I don't
business,
even care that
really.
much.
It's not, and
Right.
also, like, let's stop leading with our sexuality. Let's stop leading with that. Like, who cares? You are a black human being. You're a black person. You're a human being. And when we stop looking at people as but this, but that, that's how it's a really easy way to dehumanize each other and make excuses for why we're not supposed to care or why that person deserved it. So black people, black cisgender people, I don't like that word, but whatever, I'm gonna go rock with it because I don't want to offend anyone. Let's do a better job of gathering around when we lose a transgender person to have those marches, have those protests. Don't just let the LGBTQ community put those hashtags up. We have to put the hashtags up. We have to march. We have to be mad as well. And we have to do it. We have to.
They asking, how do we bridge the gap between cis people and trans people? Because a lot of people are
I think
saying
that's a
stuff
great
like,
question.
and I'm going to sit back on this one. No, I am, because I feel like I've been talking a lot.
Dominique, what do you think?
No, I was asking that before because, like, I know I shared earlier, Claudia, that I happen to, afford, be able to work with someone who was trans and transitioning, and I was, I'm such a girl's girl, so I'm a part of it. But everyone doesn't have that experience, and so for my other friends or other women that I know who are cis women who may be, maybe working on getting, having a baby, maybe working on finding a man or whatever, and they just not really, they're totally oblivious. How would they still, show that they're an ally, or maybe, be able to have a friend, a real, genuine friendship with with transgender women?
Yeah.
How do we
That's
do
a good
that
question.
without
That's a
being
good
weird
question.
either?
I
Like
think
that
this
weird
is
white
a
lady.
start.
Like that
This
weird
is a
white
dialogue.
lady. Like, teach me how to do the wobble when you go and it's time to do the wobble. And that weird white lady come up like, come on, girl, show me how to do it. Like, how we do it? Like, show me
Right.
how to do it.
So what a lot of cis women do is like, ooh, girl, your makeup is like, ooh, girl, your body is such and such and such. Girl, like, okay, I don't need you to tell me that. Like, that's
Stop being
that's like, we feel like
weird.
that's an instant clock. And clock
Okay.
means like when somebody gets your teeth, like somebody knows that you're trans. So automatically
Okay.
they get that, ooh, girl, you, ooh, or ooh. They want
But
to use all
sometimes
these
that could
gay
be a good
terms.
clock, though. That could
Don't
be a
speak
good.
to me in the gay lingo. Just talk to me
But
regular. Like, I think that this is a perfect start. I love the fact that you have us on here, Claudia. I love the fact that we're getting to be able to speak like this. I think if we all start doing more research and, finding out, I think that it'll genuinely happen. I don't think that it's a forced thing. I think that just realizing that everybody is human and that we all bleed the same and that we just want to be loved just like everybody else.
Yeah.
And I think that it will genuinely happen. I think me and you would be good girlfriends, girl.
I'm with it. I'm definitely a girl's girl and all for it. That's
can
why I'm
we
so
talk
with
about? Oh,
this
this is a good one.
conversation.
Can we talk about all the ball players and A-list celebrities who fetishize us and don't speak up for our civil rights? That's Trey saying that.
Yeah,
And
Let's
what's
talk
his name?
about
And
that.
they want to
they'll
keep
sleep
us
less
a
on the love.
secret. Household names been paying us for years. Let's talk about
Wait,
that.
hold up. What
Timbers, you want
household
to take
name?
that question?
What household name?
What's he?
She's saying like the big A-list celebrities that go around sleeping with transsexuals and pay them, but they don't speak up
But
for
they
Well,
don't
we getting killed and things are happening to us.
let's call
Ooh.
them out. They should be
Well,
speaking.
see, I don't
If they can lay down with you, they should be able to
see.
speak
I
up
don't
for you.
agree
So
with
let's call.
like.
Who we talking about? Who we talking about?
But
Who?
this
See, I
goes back
would
into
never
sex work.
call anybody out, but I do understand it sometimes when people call people out you know, I've definitely had my share of people, you know, or whatever, and because I can kind of understand why they're pushed in the closet, but I do think that they should speak up. I don't, you know, the way people have called people out has become like it's very toxic, and I can see how, you know, someone might get hurt by doing something like that. So I wouldn't do that. I would never call anybody out, but we
Yeah.
I
see
know we're not
y'all.
naming no
But
names.
we
They
see
talking about like
you.
names to names. We're not naming no names. This is not
So
their lives.
Okay, I was being curious, and I'm
Yes.
now. Listen, God knows my heart. I'm still working on being a better human being, and I'm not there yet. And I can admit
I
that.
feel you. I want to know something. I don't know if you all remember. I don't know. I don't even keep up with the show. It was what was it? What was it? It was Big Brother or something over in the UK or something. A couple
You heard
whatever
what Trey
years
said, right?
ago.
With
And
Genuine.
there was a woman on it. Was it with Genuine? Was that it?
Yes,
There was a
because he's a
woman
good
on
friend of
there
mine, and
who
they came
said,
for him.
okay, and it was a woman on there, am I right, Claudia, that was trans woman who was saying that she did not want trans to be added to her name because she felt like she was a woman. Her lady parts was woman. She's a woman. She felt like she's done her whole transition, and she did not want them to call her a trans woman anymore. How do you all feel about that?
Well,
I
see,
feel
like
like
I
at
was
the
saying
end,
earlier, like, you know, I come from a different generation where, like, you know, I didn't transition to be a trans woman. I transitioned to be a woman.
A woman.
Like, and, you know, so we were stealth for a long time. We didn't come out. Like, now it's like, we're trans, we're here, get used to it. And, you know,
Yeah.
so that's bittersweet. So now it allowed me to love myself all the way unconditionally, but it was a time where that's not what I wanted. My journey in society made me realize, okay, girl, you're a trans woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what a lot of us wanted to be. We just
They
wanted to
be
be
women.
a woman.
Yeah.
So
So
in
I
a
can
perfect world,
understand
you
that.
don't
And
want
it's
to be
like I
called.
go this far for you to still put this trans on me. And first of all, that title comes with so much stigma and so much stereotype, and you're put in a box because of it. So that's why, you know, I can understand her not wanting to be called a trans woman.
Okay.
So
and
is that how
also there
y'all
is
feel
not a
about?
there's not a safety space for certain things like that. Like they were saying in the comments, oh, you should call them out. Like they were saying, there's not a safety space for that. Just like Chasity said, she transitioned to be a woman. I feel like when you transition from one thing to the next thing. Me personally, myself, like she said, she transitioned over 20 years ago. I transitioned 6 years ago, so it is different for me. And even being on social media and being popular and stuff like that on social media, in my everyday life, I'm not wearing a I am transgender t-shirt for nobody. It's never gonna happen. It's not
So
gonna. I didn't get my name changed and my gender changed and all these things done to myself to justify what people feel like I should be wearing on top of my head, so they can identify who I
so
am.
at the end of the day, you don't want to be called transgender woman. You want to be called just a woman.
Yes.
I'm a woman who happens to be trans, and
But
that's
there,
okay because
but
I
there
will
are
own that.
girls who like to be called trans. Like, you know, it's like a hybrid. Like I said, now it's kind of like I'm trans, you know, and that's fine. Like, I mean, I love it. I'm here for it. If
So
that's
can
what
you
you
see
want.
how confusing it could be for the
Yes,
average?
yes,
Like,
girl.
what
It
if?
That's
is.
what I'm saying.
I get confused
I
sometimes
get
on
Okay,
certain
okay,
things.
okay, okay.
And as a cis
How
woman,
can
I'm like, I
y'all
don't
be
want to
so?
be
How
called
can
this.
some people
That's
be so hard on us?
And
When
advocates, I'm not saying nothing bad about it. I'm just saying, you know, because they will get us.
They go. Yes, they will.
Dominique, how do you feel about trans women saying no? I'm not trans woman. I'm a woman. As a cisgender woman, do you feel a way about that?
I don't personally feel a way, but I understand that there will be women that feels a way
Pushback.
about that. And they're also gonna say, well, you know, I learned growing up, you know, it's a woman's bathroom, it's a man's bathroom, and now I'm learning I need to address myself as a cis woman. I'm learning this as an adult. It's so many things that we have to become comfortable with learning, and people's comfortability, you know, is
What
ranges
happens?
differently. You say
What
you
happens
I'm
don't,
going
with
to
you
the
walk
bathroom.
around
intersex
with
people?
chairs. I don't walk around with.
What happens with hermaphrodites? What happens with
I
intersex?
don't
Like,
even
I
know
mean,
the difference.
Intersex
Hermaphrodite.
is people. Intersex are people
both
who are born with
with
both
hermaphrodites.
private parts.
Oh, okay, got you. See,
So
I
what do
don't
you
have
want them
it
to
at
use
the
the
top of
restroom?
my head.
So where they supposed to go to the bathroom? Like, you know, so it's a very thin line. We all start out the same thing. Like, it's the gonads that start producing one way or the other. And sometimes it like takes a longer time. Like some people have a certain genitalia but to produce a different hormone. Like you can have a penis but be producing so much estrogen. So like it's scientifically it's such a thin line that
Yeah.
it's very like it's like how can people not understand when you really start reading up on it? It's like okay, this is very likely for
Interesting.
somebody's brain. And then they had specific they done things where there were trials that shows that trans women brains were the same as women. Like, so it's very,
So
I
I have
think
a
it.
que-
All.
I have
I
a
think the
question.
bathroom.
I have a question real quick. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, sister.
Do you think, like, it seems like as of late, like there's been an explosion of folks coming out and saying they're trans. Now, in our society, there's so many people that want to be with what's trending. Do you think there's people that are faking it for the clout or that are jumping on the bandwagon and really aren't in their souls, but or has there been this many trans people in our society that just haven't felt that they could come out until now? What do you,
I call
is
them trendgenders. Like,
transgenders?
no,
Oh, they gonna hate you, Jackson.
No, I mean,
But
some people, I say all the time, some people are going to be miserable when they get older. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they feel like, there are some girls that are doing it specifically just so that they can prostitute, just so that they can escort or so that they can feel like, because the girls make it look glamorous. But see,
Okay.
what people don't see is the other side of it.
Right.
It's a constant search. Sometimes it can be lonely because everybody
Financial,
wants to have sex with you,
with
but
you,
who's going to love you? Like who is going to be open enough to want to love you out loud?
financial
Everybody wants to see
burden.
you in the dark, or whatever. So they don't get that side of it. They just see the beauty. Oh, these girls are beautiful. Oh, they
Beautiful.
so and so and so. They're making these money. They're having the trade. Blah blah blah. And they don't get the other side of it when you in the house and you're giving girls.
Miss Thing, what's the
I
tea?
didn't want, this is not, I wanted to just be a woman. I didn't want to have to go through all this. Like,
I have a question.
The financial burden. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Could you consider someone an ally or someone who considers themselves an ally and say, they
People say
do
that all
take
the
the
time.
time? Yeah, they take the time to, stay up to date on the vocabulary, this, that, and the third. But say that person is a parent. And just say when it comes to having a child, that person is like, listen, I don't want my kid watching no cartoons like that, going over nobody's house, that same sex parents. When it comes to my kid is a kid, and I want my kid to be a kid. Would you then, some people with the internet might label that person as transphobic or something because when it comes to their kid, they feel like that, but they also feel like an ally. What would you call them?
There goes back into preference. I mean, if you don't want your niece to come over here and play with my niece because I'm trans, that's your preference. That's your niece going to be missing out on the experience with a child. That's your
yeah, I
preference.
just think that's not, first of all, like when they say like, same sex, first of all, I just think that comes against
But see,
unconditional
look,
love.
they say then you're not an ally, and I
Yeah,
Then you're
you're
not an
not.
ally.
You're not.
You're not.
You're not. Because you have,
I think I could be
Because
an ally
you being a hypocrite and then also trying to
yeah.
justify something too. That doesn't make sense.
What makes someone an ally? What does it being an ally look like? So we know what an ally looks like.
Doing the work outside of this right here. That's what an ally is truly is. An ally is someone who accepts the fact and the role of helping up for people who may not look like them. That's what an ally looks like to me. And doing the work and respecting them. I respect people who want to have conversations and understanding about things without bashing them or people making them feel bad for asking questions. People have made you feel bad over the last couple of months for asking a question that you want to have asked. And I think that you're a great person, but I would love to see you do the work when Jada Black Beauty is not here. I would love to see that. Dominique, I would love to see the work when I'm not here on this panel. I would love to see that. And I'm always here to answer questions and be on your team. And if you ever want to call me and have a question, you say, hey, sis, I have a question for you. I'm trying to understand something.
If you want
If
to
I
put me
know
on
that
your
you're
show too.
Yeah, listen.
if you're
I
doing
thought about it.
if you're
Can I
doing the
say,
work,
Claudia
go ahead,
with
Claudia.
C.
to piggyback off of what Dominique said earlier, a lot of us Black women have so many other things in our lives. Like, I'm a survivor of sexual assault twice, right? And I got to balance this relationship. And I'm in a man's world with my career. Then I got to fight for equal pay. Then I got to worry about my mom that's sick. Then I got to be an auntie. Then I got to do this, that, and the other.
I need to do research.
And then all while making less than my male counterpart. Like, I'm just saying, the average Black woman has a million things and fights that we're doing for everybody. So am I not a good ally if I care, I love, and I want to help, but I don't take the time to research? Is it throw the whole woman away?
I think that's unfair.
No.
It's not.
But you got to do the work, but it's also about
all
action.
that boil you down to misogyny. A lot of that, you know, we still like live in a misogynistic world, and it's like, you know, allies would probably be good for you because we can help the fight a little more. You know, like, you know, if we all see woman as woman and we become a sisterhood, then maybe we can fight this misogynistic world, because like I think misogyny trumps racism in this war, in America. Like, you know, at the end of the day, they'd rather see a man in there, whether he's white or black, versus a woman.
That's very true.
So are white men the root of all evil in America? Racist white men are...
Well, orange. He was
We're
orange.
not talking
really
about
white.
all of y'all, but
he was orange.
I think that's interesting, though, that someone can feel like they were an ally, but when it comes to their kid, not, you know, want that to be off limits. And based on the comments, not what you girls said, but based on the comments, they were like, no, then they not an ally then. And I'm like, maybe they just saying my baby only 7. Maybe when he's 17, he can watch when he want to go over there, but my baby is 7.
That is a comment that all of us need to hear. If we could stop canceling each other, we could heal from each other. That is a comment that we all can take. Randy, you better say that. Randy is from New Orleans as well, and he was doing the people's work down there in New Orleans, and I kind of grew up under him. So shout out to Randy for that. And I totally agree.
When you cancel someone, you stop them from ever wanting to move forward. Like, they're like, well, fuck it, I've been canceled. Not everyone's like me who still tries. Like, you know what I mean? I'll get canceled, then I'm like, no, but I still care. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that get canceled and they can't take the pressure. Like, I cried all day yesterday and half of today because there's always something. And I'm I'm just like a kid that's like, I want to learn, but then if I get smacked down, you know, I'll still try. But a lot of people don't, and they will give up. And I just want to encourage people. And also, I need the community to also be a little bit open to Black women in our struggle, cis women in our struggles. Like, we deal with a lot too. We all deal with a lot. And just being open to each other's struggles. Like, one struggle isn't more important than the other struggle. And I think that applies with cis and trans, light and dark. Black people have so much pressure on them every single day, coming from all different directions. The more we fight against each other, the more the racist white man that runs all this shit laughs and loves it. Like, look at them niggas. Look at them fighting each other. Divide and conquer. And it works. We could be so much further along if we just stop the bullshit. And if someone makes a mistake and uses the wrong pronoun because they're still in the early process of their education, take them to the side. Don't blast them on Instagram and make them feel like they want to commit suicide over it. Talk to them. And you know the difference between someone that's evil and trying it and trying to be an asshole, between that and someone that actually made a mistake. And I just want people to just have more grace and just, you know what I mean? Like, they
don't give them no grace.
Some people are bitter. Some people
Some people
really
just be unhappy with themselves.
That
goes back into that.
And there's clout chasers that's like, there's clout chasers that can say, oh, Claudia Jordan came for me, and everybody go hate her too, and they use it as clout, and that's wrong. I am not your enemy. I would not have y'all on my show and this show if I didn't care, and I need y'all to understand me. I really need y'all to feel me. I need y'all to feel me. I'm not that woman. I'm so mischaracterized all the time. And it hurts my heart, y'all. It does. It does.
We with you.
Thank you.
We with you.
What's your sign?
Aries.
I wanted to. Oh, yeah. Your birthday coming up?
April 12th. I'll be 48. Bitch, get old.
You look good.
Almost somewhere around there.
What's everybody else's sign here? What's everybody else's
I'm a Sagittarius.
I'm a Cancer. Oh, I'm a Cancer.
2 Cancers and a Sag.
And Sagittarius.
I am definitely a Sagittarius.
Yeah.
By
What's your birthday, Jada?
December 6th.
Oh, mine's December 16th. Okay, period.
Oh, so you're a Sagittarius?
Yes.
Me
Word.
and my
Because I love
Sagittarius friend
Cancer.
fall out all the time. That whole block me every other week.
Fool.
My best friend is a Cancer. I love her. Y'all are
I like
hilarious.
cancers. They are a little bit too emotional, but I like them. They're cute, but they are too emotional for me. My best friend is a cancer, but I like
Aries,
them.
Aries are also a lot of times misunderstood because on the outside we appear to be so
Diva.
strong, like fuck it, because we may have potty mouth, like, but inside very sensitive and feel it all, but misunderstood and also fight for justice. And a
I,
lot of times it's misinterpreted as something else. And I just want people to just know, like, I'm always open to be taught something new. And I
Yeah.
well,
don't
we
want,
love you, Claudia, and you
well, I
are
love
city,
y'all.
and you're city
And
girl.
And
I really
sometimes,
I appreciate y'all coming on my show. I know there was a lot of people that wanted y'all to drag me into fight with me and to just penalize me from any missteps in the past. So the fact that y'all took the time to be on the show and to be open, you don't know how much it means a lot to me. It does.
But we
And
love you, Claudia. We
we
thank
love
you,
appreciate
you.
you.
It
Claudia.
means a lot to me.
Don't cry.
Shauna, let me address Miss Shauna real quick. I heard Miss Shauna wanted me to was putting out some information that I said all these negative things about her, and it's not true. Um, Jerome Trammell was posting the receipts about what actually happened on the Ricky Smiley show. And again, it can't be an unfair fight. If you're coming and saying stuff about me and I pop off back, that's an individual argument. It doesn't mean a fight against the entire community. Just like if you say something fucked up to me, I can't say, you don't like all black cis women. That's not fair. Individuals and a community is two different things, y'all. If we get to a point where we can have a disagreement with an individual without you being penalized as you're attacking the entire community, I think that's wrong. I don't think that's right. And we have to be more adult about this. Obviously, I'm not a transphobe. I'm not a transphobe person because a transphobic person wouldn't even be open to having this conversation. They'd be like, I don't need to waste my time with that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's really people out here that really are that way. But listen, if you care about black people, you have to care about black trans women, black trans men. It includes, there's a big old umbrella, and there's a lot of different types of folks up under that umbrella. And you can't say Black Lives Matter if you only mean, well, the kind that I like, the kind that I'm comfortable with. Because then you're really
amen.
being fake. You're not really
That's
saying Black Lives Matter.
and that's like saying protect black trans women, but only protect the passable ones that actually look like women, and we're not gonna protect the ones that don't really look like women. That's
That part.
another thing. So,
So what did we learn
um,
tonight? What did we learn
It's,
tonight?
Woo, I learned so many things. I heard it was passable. I learned it was other jargon in there that I learned. It was something else. What'd you say? I forget, but I've learned a lot, and I really just wanted more, when any cis women that was watching, for me to make sure I asked the questions or said the things that they were thinking, because I am afforded, the experiences of, being an ally and having trans women in my life, but everybody doesn't have that, and so with me on my radio show and my platform, not to play devil's advocate, but just to take emotions out of it and be like, well, sis, from all sides. So I hope that, a conversation like this, we encourage other cis women and trans women to have these type of conversations, because that's the only way that we're ever going to bridge this gap.
I've learned that as cis women like you yourself, both y'all are beautiful. Let me say that.
Thank you.
I've learned that y'all are sensitive too, like how we are sensitive about certain things. I would have never guessed that. You would be scared to be like, oh well, let me be scared. I've never thought in a million years that cis women would be scared to ask questions about trans people. So I do appreciate both of y'all, Dominique and Claudia, for doing the work and bringing myself and Chasity up here and allowing us to have this panel, because it's very important that we have dialogues. Claudia, don't cry. Like I said earlier, they wanted me to drag you, sister. But I was not here for dragging you,
Yeah,
because
so
I
sweet.
want to have this conversation.
and I'm just full. I'm filled. Like, I love this conversation. I really didn't know what to expect. Like Jada said, the girls was like, yes, get Miss Claudia. She said such and such and such. And I have a
I'm like,
newfound
no.
respect. I definitely have a newfound respect for you. I can tell that and I know that you're an Aries now, so I know it's giving rah-rah, that you're really sensitive
Yes.
or whatever. And I just love the fact that you were so open-minded and that you were you didn't just throw things out. You were actually, she was actually, even on break, she was actually nervous to say certain things because she didn't want to offend anyone. And I love that. And I love you down there. She was very open as well. So I learned a lot. And I learned that, and I already knew this, that Black women carry so much on their backs anyway. They do. And so some of us want to take that load, some of that load from you, and we want to be allies with you and realize that we're sisters and that you do. And I think that a lot of people feel that trans women are in competition with women, and oh, we don't like women and all that stuff, and that is so false coming from me personally, because I have wonderful sheroes in my life. My mom, my aunt, my grandmother who's no longer here. So I just thank you for this conversation, and I just wanted to keep on going. Like, you have a platform, Claudia. It's for you to keep it going. For us, Jada, me and Jada come from the same community. We've never even really had conversations. So I love the fact that both of us, Chocolate Woman, was up here. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because we represent in the
That's for
ballroom.
the girl.
So. And I learned that she's so intelligent too. So I had a wonderful night. I really appreciate this. I'm very filled.
Cheers,
Well, thank you.
girl.
I appreciate this. I really do. I really, at the end of the day, I know how, well, I don't know how y'all feel, but I'm assuming some of it feels there's a frustration of being misunderstood for who you really are. And I share that sentiment with you of constantly being accused of something that I'm not. And I know y'all must feel that as well. And that's where we are on the same page. So I'm trying to just put myself in your shoes, how that must feel. And I think that's a common ground with us, not feeling like being heard, or not feeling like, being seen for who we really are. And that's going to hurt anybody. So moving forward, if we could just show each other grace on both sides to be able to learn together. Y'all learn some things about us, me and Dominique, and we learn things about you too. And let's continue this movement. And I hope people watching this can feel inspired by this conversation and stop putting y'all in boxes of something so much smaller than you really are. You know what I mean? And us cisgender women, we don't want to feel like we're being, replaced and all that silly nonsense. And I just feel like this is the beginning of some more conversations to get there, because we have a long way to go. And Black people,
We do.
we got a lot of stuff, again, that we're dealing with. I mean, the average Black American, without even getting into this kind of conversation, has so much stress on the everyday level. So let's just be a little open-minded to what someone else must be going through before we just write them off or cancel them
Or label them.
Or live with them.
Yeah.
They talk about you in the comments, Claudia. They let's lift Claudia up today. That's what everybody keeps saying in the comments.
I've been crying once I cry once in a week, it's a wrap. I have to start over on Monday. It's just been I think people think, and this is another area thing, that you're good, you talk shit, you can handle it. But at the end, at some point, we're human, and it should be hurting. You know what I mean? I don't want any of y'all to think that I have any kind of animosity. I don't.
So thank you guys so much.
Are we good? Are we good now?
We
We
good.
good. We good.
Well,
It was nice to meet all of you ladies, and I hope that we can continue this conversation in the future. Chasity, I'll see you around Atlanta.
Yes, ma'am.
And then the lawyer, I'll see her around Atlanta. And,
Well, when I come down here to get my food or whatever, don't act like you don't know me, Jada, because I was saying.
baby, you better come see what you cooking, baby.
Okay.
My food truck is open in May. So it's called What You Cooking Baby. That's WHATCHA Cooking Baby, straight from New Orleans, the 504. So if y'all on this live, y'all already know I am from New Orleans, baby. I just didn't let it come out because I was, I had my voice on, but I'm from New Orleans.
I'm coming
and
down
it's okay.
here.
So B. Nair says, everything you are doing for the community, Claudia, I love. Nobody takes the time to learn the community like you do. Thank you. I know I'm not the only one. I know Dominique wants to learn as well. So thank you for just saying something nice. And support these ladies in all their endeavors, their businesses, their Instagram. Can someone start a thread with all of us so we can put our phone numbers in the group? And we didn't get to bring Alicia back on because Okay, I'll follow back. We couldn't add Alicia to the conversation. She was on the show as well because we only could add 3 or 4
My
of this.
iPod's about to go dead. So if y'all want to add Alicia
Yeah.
on the line, then y'all
No,
can add Alicia.
so I'll inbox you guys my number. Let me see, did I follow you? Can I? How do you?
I did. Thank you, guys.
When we know, we grow. That is correct. So I appreciate you, ladies. I'm about to get off because my phone is about to die. I've been on here for
Okay.
like a couple hours.
All
Thank you
right,
so
ladies.
All
much.
right, guys. Love you.
This was
Be
awesome.
All
Love
right, y'all
you.
have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Very nice. Okay. How do I end this?